Hello, привет, как дела? So I finished another book. I finished it a while ago. So the book is Africa's Long Road Since Independence. I got the book because I was curious about the continent of Africa. Now, I will say, if you want to read this book, I actually recommend reading this book, Fortunes of Africa, first. I read this one first, and then this one. This one's more modern history, this one's more all of African history. I would recommend reading this one first because it draws a greater line of continuity, and then read this one. So I'll review that one after, like later, another video. I also read that one. Africa's Long Road Since Independence. This was a good book. The topics covered in this book were actually very interesting and I didn't know a lot about. Basically from like the 1930s and onwards, Africa began to develop this thing called like African nationalism. Like a good example of this might be like the ANC from South Africa. It's Nelson Mandela's party, African National Congress. And it developed because of the fact that if you read before the independence, the colonial powers they needed ministers for their positions when they were ruling over their different areas in Africa. As a result, the local populace got educated and gave rise to nationalism. This book basically covers African nationalism as it rises through different areas in Africa, but it also talks about some of the political corruption, how Africa got dragged into the Cold War because basically politicians wanted money from America or for the USSR. Talks about how Cuba got involved, I think it was with Somalia. How these independent colonial areas, and once they gained their independence, how they've been performing. The book is filled with a lot of detail about modern history of Africa, and it's actually a really good book. The author is also a journalist with a historian background, so I think he has a degree in history, like a PhD in history, but he was also a journalist in Africa for 10 years, and so he can actually give a lot of first-person experiences, accounts of what was going on top of the fact that he has the academic background to provide like a very holistic framework of what was also occurring. I would say the book actually gets it right for the most part. I didn't find that there was too many wrong takes. There's a lot of good takes in this book, and I would highly recommend people reading it. Now, the next book I'm going to review will be another book on African history, which I suggest you actually watch. The video is not done yet, but when it comes out, I suggest you watch it because that book I think you should read first. With that being said, tschüss.